Welcome to the Wingmen Show. We are floating like butterflies and stinging like bees. Rumble, you badass jet pilots, rumble. Welcome to the Wingmen Show. My name is Drew Brown, and my wingman, my friend, the guy who watches my six all the time, my man, Dr. Paul Thompson. What's up, Dr. Paul? How you doing today?
Doing pretty good. I'm glad to see you. This is our 100th show. And
Damn!
All our listeners, we've got 100, actually 100. And I would say at the front end, we appreciate all the listeners, all those who listen, share, like, and pass on this message. We appreciate you.
We sure do. 100 goddamn shows. Oh, my goodness. I am so impressed with you and myself. We really did it, Dr. Paul. And we're going to tell the people today why we do it. But first, I want to say we're going to have some wingmen that are pretty deep at the end of the show and some good people that you'll like to hear what we're going to say about them. This is our 100th podcast right here. So if you listen to us on Apple Podcasts, write us a review. If you watch us on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. And like Dr. Paul says, don't smash it, just touch it. And for you Instagrammers, hit us up on that gram. Our newsletter is at wingmenshow.com. And the newsletter has a bunch of stuff in it. Dr. Paul writes some good stuff, some financial stuff. We also put in some 11 Facts in Life. So check out our newsletter on wingmenshow.com. We are proudly sponsored by Magic Mind. And if you want Magic Mind, it's this drink that we take. It has 13 natural substances in it. Paul and I drink it. And maybe that's why we're so fired up. You know, it's supposed to cause productivity. Well, guess what? 100 shows. So obviously Magic Mind works. And you can just go to magicmind.co to get your orders. And if you put in the code Wingman, you'll get 40% off. All of you, thank you so much for being here. Dr. Paul, you know, I take that Magic Mind with my coffee, and it's supposed to give us productivity. And guess what? We have productivity. It's called the 100 shows. You know, in my Facts in Life, I have one of the facts that says the art of thought, the art of communication, and the art of action. Well, I've been thinking about doing this podcast for quite some time. And then I started to talk to people about it. And then I found my wingman, Dr. Paul. I talked to him. But the next one was the important step, and that was the art of action. We got together. We worked every day. We started on my birthday a couple of years ago. We worked every single day, no Saturdays and Sundays off. We worked every single day for, I think, 3 or 4 months.
Yeah, I think it's about 3 months.
We got this thing together, huh?
About 3 months.
Paul?
Yeah, about 3 months.
Yeah, I mean, every day for 4 or 5 hours. And we got it doing. But, you know, the good thing is don't make it like it's bad because we loved what we were doing, just like when we were flying. We love flying, so it's really not that much work.
Yeah. It's like anything else when you get started. You know, the thing is we didn't know we didn't know anything, didn't know what we were doing, didn't know what we were not doing. And it was just a matter of experience and trying and talking with people and just starting from the ground up. So things that used to take us weeks and days and weeks and months and now are reduced to just a few hours, relatively speaking. But that
when we produced the show, remember, you and I, it would be 2 full days to produce one show. Right, now we do it in 4 hours. We work every day to find out our stories, but we produce the show in about 4 hours, don't we, Doc?
Exactly, because there's a lot to do, a lot of little things to do. But if you know the little things, then it's easy. If you don't know, you're just pecking around. So now we got a system going, and we can actually be efficient. So that's part of the learning process, and that kind of helps your brain move. So it's good to get uncomfortable sometimes. That's where your growth is.
That's very true, Dr. Paul. Everything we've done, we've worked hard at. And that's the reason why we did this show. I came up with the idea because I've been speaking to children and grown-ups for the past 40 years, I guess. And the one thing I wanted to do was teach people how to be successful. God dang it, I'm successful. Dr. Paul and I were born in Harlem, New York.
Right.
And the story's supposed to be that we're drug addicts, criminals, or didn't make it. No, we're 2 black men who are now Navy jet pilots who retired from FedEx, a major airline. After 30-something years, we have money, We have family. We're doing well. And there was a way we did it. And that's why I wanted to do this. You know, I wrote something called The 11 Facts in Life. And if you don't mind, Dr. Paul, I'd just like to read them real quick for him.
Sure, go ahead.
All right. So when I've always thought, you know, motivating people, what do you just tell them? Just to do better? Just come on, get out there and do it. Hell no, you have to have steps. These are the 11 steps I believe that will bring success every time. Fact number 1, wake up, show up, pay attention, especially to detail. Fact number 2, be happy, have fun, and be nice. Fact number 3, everything you do comes back to you. Fact number 4, have purpose. Find your gift and use it. Fact number 5, and that's what this podcast started out, the art of thought, the art of communication, but the big one, the art of action. Fact number 6, good will overcome evil. Fact number 7, use common sense and moderation. Fact 8, emit integrity and respect. Fact number 9, develop self-discipline. Fact 10, treat everybody the way you want to be treated. And fact number 11 is you got to believe, Dr. Paul. I believe if you take those steps, you can do anything you want.
That's right. So some guy wrote a book called You Gotta Believe.
That was me, Dr. Paul.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. That's
You know, a little history on us. Dr. Paul and I were both born in Harlem. This is amazing. Both born in Harlem. We both went in the Navy. And I just have to say this, there are no black pilots in the Navy. When I say no, I'm not that wrong. There are so few black pilots in the Navy, even today. So imagine back then. Anyway, both of us are Navy jet pilots, but not just jet pilots. We are attack pilots. Dr. Paul flew the A7, which I'll put up on the screen for you YouTubers, and I flew the A6 Intruder. So we both flew attack jets in the Navy. We both got out. He got out before me because he's a little older than me. He got hired by FedEx. I got hired by FedEx. I really wanted to go to Delta. But when I found out the difference between Delta and FedEx, it wasn't even close. FedEx, I will pronounce it now, is the best airline job in the world. Am I right, Dr. Paul?
I think so. I thought so.
We got paid better. We had better vacations. We flew better jets. Anyway, it's a God thing why we both got hired by FedEx, and we both just retired, and we live in the same city right now. So This was all meant to be. But why I wanted to do this show is because I want to help people. I want to leave something. Remember, I believe that you got to be better than your parents, and you got to make this world better for your children. Dr. Paul, why'd you do the show?
Well, it was kind of at your behest, but it was also a bit of a challenge. I'd never been in the public realm of, you've done stuff with kings and princes and potentates and whoever you've been around.
The hell is a potentate?
From Muhammad Ali to Ronald Reagan to Gladys Knight, the people you've been around. In my life, the only way I saw them was like on the Ed Sullivan Show. You got to be over a certain age to even know what I'm just saying. The Ed Who, it was a big deal 50 years ago. You know, you'd see an act at night on Sunday for like 45 minutes, and that was it. There's really no other TV. So that was my window into the world of show business and exciting stuff. But you grew up around it, you know, as a toddler probably. So anyway, I did this as a challenge. You challenged me. I said, let me do something different. It was, a little time consuming. I said, I don't know if it's worth it, but it grew on me after a while. And I said, okay, let's stick with it. And now this is not our first show, our 100th show. We're in the triple digits.
100%. And one of the things, you and I are retired. We have money. We have families. We have great lives. But on the facts in life, number 4 was have purpose. Mm-hmm. And I've succeeded. I've done the things I wanted to do in life, but I was losing purpose. And this podcast, to spread my message, to spread our message, that's our purpose. And Dr. Paul, let me tell you something. Out of all the people I grew up with, yes, I grew up with Muhammad Ali. My dad is Drew Bundini Brown. And that's why I can say float like a butterfly, sting like a bee, because my daddy made it up and we now have it. So That's ours. But you're one of the greatest guys I've ever met. And you're the one that I want as my wingman, Dr. Paul, not those potentates, however you said that.
I appreciate that. But, and also the thing, you talk about coming from Harlem and some of the negative stereotypes. So far, I've never been arrested. Never had any close friends imprisoned, all those kinds of things. Been pulled over a couple of times for speeding and probably guilty. But actually, I was suspected of a couple of crimes in my life. Never did any of them. Just wrong time, wrong place. So that can happen. The important thing is your conduct always counts. And whether people are watching or not, it's important that you do the right thing.
That's so true. And you might have not went to jail, but I did. I went to jail when I was 16 for a hash pipe. When I was 16. Now, after everything I've gone through, I had a top secret clearance in the Navy. I was comm officer, so I had to have a super top secret clearance. But I got all that. But do you know I couldn't get my world traveler's card because they said, hey, there's something on your record when you were 16. And do you realize what I'm trying to say is the decisions you make in life early on can affect you forever. God bless, it was a small thing. I got over it, but that's not the point. If you make a mistake young in life and you get in trouble, it will follow you. It will follow you. And another reason that we did the show, Dr. Paul, and back me up on this one, is God dang it, all you hear is bad shit on the news every day. Yep. Bad. Murder, hurricanes, death, destruction. Well, guess what? There's good news out there. Like, for an example, I believe the president had a State of the Union, and I'm not going to talk about Republicans, Democrats. I just talk about politicians. But the president had a State of the Union, and they did a short clip of it, and all they showed was one idiot yelling liar at him. He did an hour State of the Union talking about America, whatever he believes, good, bad, or indifferent, doesn't matter. The point is, the biggest point of the story was some idiot yelling liar while he was speaking. Well, guess what? There's not just bad news. Just like Dr. Paul and I, we're good news. We made it. We're Black. We made it. There's good news out there. You want to hear some more good news? Sure. Shark attacks are at a 10-year low. That's good news. McDonald's, the McNuggets, are now going vegetarian, Dr. Paul. Can you believe that?
Okay. I think I'll get my stuff somewhere else.
Nuggets in your mouth.
Okay.
Another thing is that this is true. They just did a study that wherever they plant more trees in that area, there is less death. Wherever you plant more trees, there is less death around you. That's a study. Another one, this is great news. All Minnesota students, no matter what income they're from, will now get healthy breakfasts and lunches. And to talk about that, do you remember back when Michelle Obama wanted to do that healthy lunch thing?
Yes.
Well, guess what? They just did a 15-year study, and when her program was in, kids lost weight and obesity rates went down.
Wow.
There is a way to win with all this stuff.
Yeah.
There is
interesting. When she had that thing, there's a lot of people who were angry at her about that. They were angry.
Yes.
They'd be angry at anything. Okay.
But people get angry at anything. You can do good and people still get angry at you.
Exactly.
But when you learn to not give a shit about what people think, you are free.
Right.
It takes TOP though, Dr. Paul. You and I, time on planet. Right. We have that time on planet. But, the older you get, the less you really do care about. And that's why we're not on social media other than our show. And we'll talk about that here in a little bit, because I do want to say something to somebody. Another thing, I really want to tell people that you can make it out there. And what came from this 100 show is we are now opening a frequent flyer flow line. You can write us at wingmenshow.com, leave a question, have maybe something you want to talk about. Please do that. Wingmenshow.com. Ask us a question. Maybe we can figure it out. And that's what came from this 100th show. The flow line, the frequent flyer flow line. What do you think about that, Dr. Paul?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. We can communicate with people better, and hopefully they can communicate with us, and hopefully everyone should be respectful and thoughtful in terms of what you ask, and try to ask something with purpose and thought and respect, and we'll try to answer the same way.
Very good on that. Very good on that. Please, if you do have a problem, write us. You never know. You never know. Last good news that I want to tell you, no, it's not the last good news, but right now I do want to tell you that somebody in California gave, I think, $1.5 million. They're going to give homeless people, 100 homeless people, $750 a month. And there was a study shown that if you can give homeless people an income that comes every month, that a percentage of them are not homeless anymore. And they go on to stop being homeless. So there is good news out there. Matter of fact, the best news is we have a Wingmen PSA. This is a Wingmen PSA. In order to make a decision, gather good information, prioritize it, and then make a healthy decision. When you want to make a decision, you gather good information and make sure it's factual, prioritize it, and then make a healthy decision. This has been a Wingmen PSA.
Good, good.
You know what we just had, Dr. Paul? The Super Bowl.
That's right. I watched it.
It was a great Super Bowl. And you know, Patrick Mahomes is a zebra, like me. You know what a zebra is, right?
I'm thinking of George Jefferson on the the Jeffersons.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
On up to the east side.
Yes.
Well, a zebra is somebody who has a black and white parent. And the reason I came up with that is when I was a little boy in Harlem, nobody said anything about my mother being white. But when I went to my grandparents in a white Jewish neighborhood, they had problems with my color. But the problem is I was a little boy standing in the rain, and this big kid came by me and he said, "Hey, your mother's white, your father's black, your mother's white, father's black. You must be a zebra. You must be a zebra." And I don't know why it hit me, but I remember this moment because I just started to stand there and cry in the rain. Well, the good part of that story is I grew up to be 6'5". I saw that kid again in the bathroom at one of my basketball tournaments, and I crowded him in the bathroom and asked him, "Am I really a zebra? Am I black? Am I white?" And I think he peed in his pants. So anyway, that was a good story. So Patrick Mahomes is a zebra. And I was raised, I know that there's no black race, white race, there's only the human race. And I was raised to believe that since I had multi-cultures, I was a stronger and better person. I was physically stronger. I was mentally stronger because I had more information from two cultures. Well, Patrick Mahomes is a zebra, and Patrick Mahomes is probably one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL.
Yeah, he's done really, really well. It's amazing. And then he had a bum foot too, didn't he?
Yeah, he hurt his ankle like 3 weeks ago and still went out there.
Yeah.
Oh, it was an incredible show of strength.
Just went through the pain. You know, it doesn't show up. It's amazing to be able to play at that level, do anything at that level, and make it look invisible almost.
Oh, it was a great game too. And the winner to me was the one who had the ball last.
Yeah. It was. I mean, it was decided right at the end.
You couldn't have got a better game. But how about halftime? Rihanna. Now, Rihanna hasn't been on stage in, I believe, 6 or 7 years.
Yeah.
How about this? There were more people who watched the halftime show than watched the game. First of all, Rihanna is worth 1.7 billion. Billion, I said. She has a makeup company. She runs it down there in the Caribbean. 1.7 billion. She had 1 billion streamers for her Super Bowl show. There were more people who watched her than watched the Super Bowl, and she hadn't been around in 6 years. That is incredible, Dr. Paul.
Yeah, think about it now. That's if everybody in the United States was watching, that's like 3 times the population. That shows the international draw of the Super Bowl and of her.
Yeah, and all of her songs were from 6 years ago.
Right.
There was nothing new.
Right.
And she had a little baby bump that she proudly showed
Yeah. And there's some people say that may represent other things. That's
well, I don't know what that's your conspiracy nut people. But the truth is that today's fashion actually means that they're proud of their baby bumps, where before women used to hide it, try to stay non-pregnant as long as possible. And now they're just showing it, naked bellies, everything. It's a fashion thing.
Yeah, they had to do that to even be on TV, way back in the day.
Yes, that's true. Hey, remember when we were flying attack airplanes and we could shoot rockets and missiles, and we used to practice doing that because I love shooting rockets.
That's fun.
I love that more than anything. Well, what if you and I were sent up to shoot a balloon that can't shoot back? Would that have been a great mission to do?
Actually, yeah. In the middle of the daytime, I think so.
Daytime,
anytime we got to shoot anything, it was fun.
That's right. Blowing shit up. We love to blow shit up.
I loved it.
So anyway, there's some balloons going over America. There's some other objects going over America. And I heard somebody said, if you come over here, we'll shoot you down. Dr. Paul, they better be careful what they shoot. They need to check shit out first. You never know what could come over to our atmosphere. And they might shoot. We were laughing our asses off. They might shoot something. This force field comes up, and all of a sudden that missile goes and just stops and drops. Yeah. What do you do now in a jet?
Yeah. Then I'm thinking, if somebody comes from interstellar space, meaning outside the solar system, and they can make it to the Earth, they can probably handle anything you throw up at them. They can handle your little conventional airplanes. I'm just. No,
it's 100% true. We're so arrogant to think we're the only people here.
Right.
I mean, what gives you that thought? Just because things are far away?
Yeah. You think, somebody in another galaxy, they may be watching this show right now, and they're laughing, saying these guys are right. we're just playing with them, No, I think, it's funny if you go shoot a balloon and it says Party City on it or something like that, or I don't know. It's very, very interesting, but there've been a lot of shoot down. I think there's been about 4 or 5 in the last week or so. That's kind of expensive.
Oh yeah.
It involves multiple aircraft, tankers, and all kinds of things. And the missile if the missile works, that's about $400,000 or so. So it's an
expensive ordeal. But I'm telling you, be careful who you shoot at. They might shoot back. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. All right. Something else that I wanted to do now, let me show the T-shirt that I love. We do T-shirts every now and then. Well, you YouTubers, watch this T-shirt, and if you can just listen to what it says. It says, I'm a multitasker. I can listen, ignore, and forget all at the same time.
We all do that because we're so busy. You kind of listen. You're multitasking is we all do it, and I'm doing less of it now because I find I wasn't getting that much done. This is even with the magic mind. You need to put your mind on not everything, but 1 or 2 things at a time is plenty. Sometimes you just confuse yourself. There's a difference between activity and achievement. It's really easy to be busy, but what have you really gotten done? And sometimes it's like nothing. You've been busy. You're tired. What have you done?
Is that called spinning your wheels?
Spinning, yeah. You're busy. You're spinning your wheels and turning at the same time, but you're not going anywhere. Yeah, so.
Well, that magic mind, that's what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to focus you and you produce more. And obviously that's what we're doing. The one thing I like that there's no procrastination. Procrastination is washing away from me in that magic mind. You know what it's got in there? Have you ever heard of choline?
Yes, I have.
Choline you can find in broccoli, milk, navy beans, fatty fish, and eggs. And what choline does, it boosts your dopamine. And your dopamine is what I call your get high drug. That's when you feel good. If you see little kids, 2 or 3 just running around in a circle, acting cuckoo, just going blah, 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 they're high on dopamine.
Right, naturally.
And people who use drugs, that drug taps into that dopamine and it excites it. Well, this is natural dopamine. So choline is a natural dopamine enhancer. What do you think about it?
Yeah, it's a good thing. It's green. It tastes good. The one that's in the Magic Mind, not sure I'm tasting it separately, but it's a green. You really get a lot of good stuff out of green fruit, green juices in general.
Dark green leafy vegetables.
Dark green leafy vegetables.
That's like people going to the salad bar and eating iceberg lettuce, thinking they're getting healthy.
Right, usually getting water.
Do you realize that if you ate iceberg lettuce and sugar, that you would die of starvation?
Yeah. There's no nutrients in it.
That's right.
There's no nutrients.
And Magic Mind, that has all this stuff, just go to magicmind.co. That's magicmind.co. I'll put it up on the screen. And if you put in the code word Wingman, you'll get 40% off. Magic Mind, you're doing it for us. I want to give a shout out to very special people who help make this show what it is. And the first one is Matthew Bivins. He was the one, and he's Dr. Paul's cousin, I believe. He was the one that we first called, and he took us through this step by step. And Matthew, if you're listening to this, we cannot thank you enough because of your giving, your time, and your patience and your knowledge. The Wingmen Show is just doing its 100th show. Thank you, Matthew. The other person I want to talk about is Branden, my man Branden from the MystikDigitalAgency. He's the one who does all our TikTok, all our gram, everything that you see out there, our man Branden's doing. And Branden is a significant part of this show. And we love you, Branden, and we want to thank you. And for people out there who want to do things, find good people to help you, because that's how you get things done. Dr. Paul, Matthew, and Branden.
Yeah, Matthew and Branden together are like our Mr. Miyagi from The Karate Kid and Yoda from Star Wars. Both of them had a lot of great wisdom to give us that helped us put us on this path and kept us from, wasting time and going the wrong way. And when we kind of tripped and fell, or at the point of almost tripping and falling badly, kind of stood us up and redirected us and put us on a positive path that we needed to go on.
What's Branden's company name?
I think it's MystikDigitalAgency.
Mystic.
Yeah, Matthew Bivins. That's my wife's cousin.
Well, that's why I said it was your cousin.
Yeah, close enough. Yeah, because we're all cousins. Yeah, we're all
that's
cousins.
Correct. Anybody in my family who's older than me, I call uncle, whether you're a cousin or not.
Right.
If you're an older person, cousin's kind of weird, so I say uncle. I don't know.
Yeah, you have a title.
Yes. Anyway, I want to do some, before we leave, before we get to our wingman, I just want to talk a little bit about finance, because people say a recession might be coming. And so we found the way that you could tell if a recession is here. You know how? Lipstick sales go down, stripper tips go down, and everybody's packing a lunch and bringing it to work. Those are the tips to find out if we're in a recession. Stripper tips go down.
That's interesting. I don't think I hadn't seen that as one of the leading economic indicators on CNBC or Fox Business Channel or anything like that.
No, they don't put that there.
No.
I guess Bella wants to say hello.
Yeah, how about the price of dog food?
For these big Great Danes, it's very expensive. Very expensive.
Okay.
And I feed them mackerel. You got to give them good fatty fish also. Dr. Paul, it's time for wingman. You want to give us your wingman?
My wingman today is my wife, Kimberly. She's been a wingman and supporter for many decades now. Supporter of me, our family, and this show. And it's important sometimes you're kind of blessed to have someone to bounce something off of, ideas, and someone that looks out for you. Hopefully we're wingmen to each other. But it would be incorrect to say, well, everybody does everything by themselves. I did everything by myself. No, not really. There are people in the background who are supporters and help mates and help meets. They help you meet your obligations, and they help you do things in matters big and small where it would be impossible to do these things without them. So I appreciate the help and guidance she's given me, and all the good advice.
That's wonderful, Dr. Paul. We both have good wives. And the one thing that people need to know is if you're single, I'm telling you, it's better to go through the rest of your life with somebody that you love. And they might not be as pretty as you want or as thin, but if they're kind and nice, it's the most important thing you can have. And I have that with my wife, Katrina. But my wingman for our 100th show is my daughter, Taryn, my baby girl, my first child. I bragged that I was going to have a boy. And when I saw my first miracle, when Taryn came out of Lori, I looked right at her face and I said, "It looks just like Taryn." Those were my first words to her. Anyway, she always says that I'm a good dad and that the things I say are so positive, and all the people that I've helped in my life, it's amazing. I'll tell you a good story. When I was on national television, people would always come up and get autographs from me. And it was kind of cool when your kids are with you and be, oh, Drew Brown, give me an autograph. Well, I went to a Texas game when Taryn was playing there, and we were in the tunnel, and these kids started running up to me, and I was going like, oh, here it goes again. And they went right past me and said, "Taryn Brown, can I have your autograph? Taryn Brown, can I have your autograph?" And I was standing there like a schmo. But Taryn has continuously told me to do this. Your voice needs to be out there, Dad. I'm lucky to have you as a dad, but other people need to hear the things you say. So my wingman is my baby girl, Taryn Christine Brown, the prettiest girl in the world. Dr. Paul, I'll tell you, thank you so much. This is our 100th show, and I'm very proud of us. I am very proud of us. And I'll tell you, anything that's meaningful, anything that's beautiful, and anything that makes you happy, Dr. Paul and our listeners, may you have it today and forever. And dear God, I pray for peace.
I pray for peace too. And again, we appreciate all our fans for listening, liking, and sharing our message. Stay positive.
Cut.
All right.
All right, hit me up.
Okay, will do.
Thank you once again, Dr. Paul Thompson, my friend. Thank you for your love, your time, and that's something that we won't ever get back. I want to thank all the listeners, too. Thank you so much for doing the show, Dr. Paul. We're jamming.
Well, thank you, Mr. Drew, for inviting me on. Always good to talk to you. And ladies and gentlemen, please remember to like, share, and subscribe to this podcast or any of the podcasts. If you're looking at YouTube, they say smash the like button. Don't smash it. Just press it gently and use as a link to all your friends. You can also look at us on our website, wingmenshow.com, WINGMEN show, SHOW.com, altogether, wingmenshow.com. And we hope to see you in the future. Thanks again, Mr. Drew.
Oh, you're welcome. And we're still floating like butterflies and stinging like bees. Rumble, you badass jet pilots, rumble. May there be peace on earth and goodwill towards all men and women.